Today, a mass hijack of archlinux AUR packages, pushing a Rust infostealer and an eBPF rootkit, a critical Splunk flaw that allows unauthenticated code execution, a decade-long backdoor buried in Linux login software, a lawsuit targeting an AI-enabled smishing network, and a guilty plea tied to the Conti ransomware operation. Here's what happened and what defenders should do now. Welcome to your cybersecurity briefing. I'll keep it calm, direct, and actionable so you can prioritize your next moves with confidence. First, the Arch user repository. Attackers took over more than 400 AUR packages this week and rewrote build scripts to drop a Rust-based credential stealer. With root access, it can load an eBPF rootkit to hide its activity. The AUR is community maintained, and this is the latest development in an ongoing supply chain concern. This matters because developer workstations and CI builders trust PKG builds by default, turning a single package update into a credential exfiltration path with stealth persistence. Defender takeaway: immediately review any recent AUR builds, pin or freeze risky packages, and rebuild in isolated ephemeral containers. Inspect PKG build diffs before building. Rotate tokens and SSH keys that may have been present on build hosts, and audit for unexpected eBPF programs and kernel hooks. Second, Splunk Enterprise has a critical vulnerability, CVE 2026-2025-3, rated 9.8. In versions below 10.2.4 and 10.0.7, unauthenticated actors can perform file operations that may lead to remote code execution. Splunk has released updates that remediate the issue. This matters because Splunk often sits at the center of detection and response. A compromise there can become both an initial foothold and a way to blind defenders. Defender takeaway: patch to 10.2.4 or 10.0.7 immediately. Limit network access to Splunk management and web interfaces, and monitor for anomalous writes or processes spawned by the Splunk service. If exposure is suspected, review web access logs for unusual requests, and validate integrity of configuration and app directories. Third, investigators report that a China-linked group tracked as Velvet Ant backdoored Linux login components, PAM and OpenSSH, to persist for nearly a decade. By modifying the software that governs who can sign in, the operators planted access where normal cleanup rarely looks. This matters because it targets the trust boundary of authentication itself, allowing long-term stealth and resilience against standard remediation. Defender takeaway: verify the integrity of PAM and OpenSSH binaries and configuration against trusted baselines or fresh vendor packages. If tampering is suspected, re-image from known good media rather than attempting in-place repair. Enforce secure boot and package signature verification. Centralize authentication where possible, and add continuous monitoring for unexpected module loads and login anomalies. Fourth, legal action is underway against a Chinese smishing network accused of using the Gemini AI agent to craft phishing text messages targeting Americans. The group is said to operate a phishing-as-a-service kit called Outsider. This matters because AI lowers the barrier to producing convincing, localized lures at scale, and SMS bypasses many enterprise email defenses, putting consumers and employees at higher risk. Defender takeaway: expand protections to the mobile channel. Enable SMS filtering where available. Harden high-risk accounts with phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication. And implement brand monitoring to spot lookalike domains and kits. Reinforce user training with mobile-focused scenarios and clear reporting paths for suspicious texts. Finally, a Ukrainian national extradited from Ireland to the United States last year has pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges tied to the Conti ransomware operation. This matters because Conti's playbooks and affiliates seeded techniques that remain active across successor groups, even as prosecutions continue. Defender takeaway: treat this as a prompt to rerun your ransomware readiness checks. Confirm immutable offline backups, segment critical systems, tighten remote access, and rehearse rapid isolation, restoration, and communications procedures. Refresh detections for common pre-ransom behaviors, and ensure 24/7 triage can act within minutes, not hours. Before you go, prioritize immediate action. Patch Splunk if you run it, audit AUR usage and rotate exposed secrets, validate Linux authentication integrity, and harden mobile channels against smishing. If this briefing helped you focus, subscribe, share it with your ops team, and turn on alerts so you don't miss the next update.